You throw words around like the Raider way. What is the way? Like, this has been a period of horrendous play by the Raiders.
The appointments are lined up.
You waiting for somebody in there?
Got an appointment.
And it's not about what you want to hear, but what you need to hear.
It's not personal. It's strictly business. It's time you and me had a private talk, Winger. Step into my office.
It's Step Into My Office with Michael Lombardi. Mr. Lombardi, we'll see you now.
All right, some tough conversations to be had. And based on the way we started this hour, Raiders Nation is stepping into the office here first, Michael. Of course, just to recap for anyone who missed the start of the show, Michael was the ire for Raiders fans across the country after a couple quotes from different editions of the GM Shuffle at different points were smashed together and taken out of context from an NFL aggregate. The viral quote was put all over a number of different media outlets, taken a lot of criticism for it. Michael, you answered that criticism, but now what do Raiders fans really need to know about how you feel about this team?
The first thing is you haven't won. You've had 13 head coaches since the last Super Bowl. You've had 2 winning seasons. You've won you lost both wild card games. This team hasn't been good in forever. Like, I don't understand the swagger with Raider fans. I don't understand this false notion that you're this incredible franchise. You were at one time, certainly. And when I was there for the 3 years I was there, for the beginning of my 4 years there, we won. We were fourth. We were 8-8, and then we went to conference championship, divisional round, and then we lost the Super Bowl. But since that Super Bowl loss in 2002, it's been ugly. It's been ugly. It's been unbelievable in terms of the turnover from general manager to head coach, 13 head coaches. Like, I don't get these. I don't get the arrogance and this lack of knowing. You throw words around like the Raider way. What is the way? What is the way? Before we won, just think about this now. Before we won in 2000, you have to go back to 94 to have a winning record. Like, this has been a period of horrendous play by the Raiders. Like, they've got a brand because of the great Al Davis branded the team. But they have no success. And the way you attack people that say something bad about your team is almost comical, because what good can you say about the Raiders? The fact that you're from Compton? The fact that you wear silver and black? The fact that you're tough? Like, the fact that you've never won is a joke. It's a complete joke. And so what has to happen is, why not face reality and understand your situation? I got a chance to spend last week with a gentleman who spent 8 years in an Iranian prison. Went there on a visit to attend a funeral, went to visit his family, got arrested at the airport as a political prisoner, as held by the Iranian government, to then exchange for some Iranians to come back with Americans. 8 years, the longest captivity in the history of hostages in Iran. And he made a great point. You've got to accept your reality. Accept the reality of the situation. Raider fans, accept your reality. You haven't won.
And I don't want to add and put words into your mouth, Michael, but you've said on the show before too, you have love for this organization. You would like them to have success again. It's just, it takes time, and it does take a little bit of reality to know where you're at in order for you to get better. Let's go to another franchise that you have a lot of familiar.
And I mean, to me, the biggest problem, Stormy, with this organization, the number one problem is the owner listens to the fans. Yeah. The owner listens to the fans, and the owner listens to the alumni. There's nobody driving this organization to where it needs to go. And unfortunately, when I left there, Al Davis was towards the end of his life. He wasn't the same as he was when I got there in 99. He was brilliant in 99. And by 2007, he was having health issues. And that was affecting everything. And there was some really poor decision-making going on. But, they haven't finished first. To go back to when they finished first, okay, we finished 3 years, 2001, 2000, 2001, 2002, and we finished first in the division. The next time they finished first was 1990. So this has been over a 34-year period of just really not great play.
Let's cruise through some of these other ones so that we can hit a few. New England, Eliot Wolf, director of scouting, the de facto GM of the Patriots now, told reporters at the Combine about the team's culture. It's easy to say the culture has changed, but there are no players here right now. But certainly there's more of an open, less hard-ass type of vibe in the building that we can move forward with. So slight dig at the Hall of Fame head coach Bill Belichick's previous approach. Is Wolf right to want to distance himself from the Belichick regime, or how might you advise Wolf today?
Well, I think, Eliot, what you did was follow the company line, because obviously if you pay attention to this Apple series, which I have not watched, but people have informed me that it's slanted towards that you would think Belichick wasn't even there. You know, I mean, you would think that nothing did. And I thought, Eliot, your press conference was more down. You were coached to say what you said, because I can't believe you believe all the things you've said. I know you too well. But I know that there's times where you have to stand in front of the public and you've got to address issues that will make your boss happy, not necessarily things that would make you happy. So, look, I don't think anybody can duplicate the 6 Super Bowls. You can laugh at the culture. You can laugh at the grading system. That's fine. You're entitled to do that. But you got to remember that when you were looking for some work, you came in there and Bill got you to work. And you may not agree with all the things that happened. Neither did I. But I think you've got to respect the results.
Yeah, Wolf hasn't been there particularly long. Joined the Pats in 2022 after the bulk of his career spent with the Packers and Browns. Let's go to New York. The Jets, let's call him already, even though he hasn't technically moved on yet, former Jets quarterback Zach Wilson. Joe Douglas announced during the Combine he's given Wilson permission to seek a trade following Woody Johnson's comments that they need a backup for Aaron Rodgers because they didn't have one this past year. Albert Breer said that he talked to one of Wilson's coaches who told him he still believes the 24-year-old is made of the right stuff and could have success elsewhere if he could be consistent. How do you view Zach Wilson, and what would you suggest he should be looking for in his next destination?
Well, Zach, I don't think anybody's going to trade for your contract. It's got too much money guaranteed in it, so I don't think anybody's going to trade for it. What I would tell you is go somewhere that has a track record of developing quarterbacks. If you could get Kyle Shanahan interested in you, boy, that would be good. If you could get Sean McVay interested in you, boy, that would be good. But I would go somewhere to learn how to become a player. And, you know, you're only going to get paid X amount of dollars. No one's going to pick up your 5th-year option, which is going to be gone. So you need to be able to go somewhere and try to improve your craft. And then you got to show people that you're dedicated to your craft, that this is really important, that this is something that you want to achieve. This is something that matters in your life, because your behavior and your actions in New York, right, wrong, or maybe misperceived, haven't indicated that.
And this past year, I mean, we know all of the dysfunction, but this past year specifically, he was thrust into a tough situation. And then we have these comments from Mecole Hardman, former wide receiver, who had some strong opinions about the franchise on the pivot, talking about them having no standards and more. Take a listen to this real quickly.
There's no standard there. It's like everybody do what they want to do, and it's like whatever. Now, granted, the defense have a more of a stabilized standard with the coaching staff on that side. So you could tell the defense got a standard, but the offense is just like, all right, we'll just figure it out. It's Aaron's show. Let Aaron do what Aaron do, you know what I mean? But then when Aaron go down, it's like, we don't know what to do.
How much of a chance did Wilson really have this year if it was all that kind of chaos and just do what you want? It's Aaron's show.
Well, I mean, look, we know that, you know, you and I have been sitting doing the show since September. We've been saying how dysfunctional they were since September. I mean, I don't know why this is news to anybody. I think I appreciate Hardiman saying that, you know, there's no standard. He clearly has never been trained in leadership, but he could see the absence of leadership. And that's what you see when I watch the Jets. I see the absence of leadership. I see a head coach who's trying to get the fans on his side reacting. I see a head coach who's paranoid. I see a head coach who doesn't command. And then I see an offensive coordinator who's going to placate to the quarterback. So this is a very challenging spot. I don't see how they overcome this. All Hardiman did was say, look, I've been on the right side, I've been on the wrong side, and now I see both.
Last 30 seconds, any sage words of advice for Brandon Staley in his new role with the 49ers?
I would just say, you know, to me, Brendan, just lay low, understand game management, and just because going for it on 4th down looks good, it may not be good.